Okay, so here we are in Amsterdam. After a pretty chilled journey, covering IDFA 2012, Christian and I. Say hi, Christian.
Hi Mark.
Yeah.
Hi audience.
Yeah, so it's our first night on our houseboat. Arriving here, we're probably going to go to the red light district just to get some food and I don't know, see what's around there. We've got our laptops out to do some work, and tomorrow we start our first day of our tour of documentary marathon, to say the least. As many as we can do and as many interviews as we can do, and do a video diary of it all, get it together for Synchronicity magazine. So, yeah. Oh, and that music you hear in the background, that's a Dutch, cool sounding radio channel. We're the only ones in the houseboat at the moment. Everybody else comes on Friday, and it's pretty chilled here. Cool guy on board, we've got a bar, very relaxed. Welcome to Amsterdam, welcome to IDFA, and welcome to Synchronicity magazine.
Sightseeing red light districts once glided past people and perverts as coffee shops beckoned. I had been before to cover IDFA as a journalist for a website in 2008. A lot had changed since then. The new place where the press and chill-out area for journalists was hard to find, and we saw some cheesy tourist artifacts and trippy graffiti that lined small winding passages and labyrinths.
Okay, finally we have arrived. It wasn't in the old museum, which I went to many years ago. After looking for quite a while, we finally found it.
We had seen 12 films in the end, but we joined the festival in the final days and many other filmmakers had left. But we were lucky enough to grab Slavko Martinov after the screening of his documentary, Propaganda, a movie about North Korea with a twist.
I had the idea in 2003 to make a film about propaganda and expose tools of propaganda that were used against us.
Right.
And, but I thought, no, I can't just make a dry film about propaganda. It'd be interesting maybe, but how can I make it dynamic, something really out there, something people have never seen before? So I came up with the idea of an intercepted North Korean propaganda that attacks Western propaganda.
So you actually used a real North Korean film?
I just thought that would be a great idea.
Yeah.
But of course the next step is you have to study propaganda in depth, everything you can get your hands on. You have to study anything you possibly can on North Korea and just amass loads of notes. And then, what do you want to say within that? And it was really great in the sense that I could take so many different types of politics that affected me or meant something to me and weave them into the script whilst using propaganda. And the interesting thing was when I had the idea, in 2003, the idea of cost of footage seemed insurmountable. And back then it was the old distribution model. To get a distributor to get on a big screen, get on TV, and how would this happen? So it took so long, and that worked for us because technology has allowed us to digital pluck films from anywhere using the Fair Use Act. And to place a story out on YouTube with ease, place it in broadband. The fact that it took so long really worked for us.
And what about funding for the film?
There was zero funding, and credit cards is still the plague of the doco maker. But it's zero funding, because of course with a film like this, anticipating there would be an international incident, and there has been, you can't possibly go to your government agency and say, pitch this to you. I actually believe I did once to a wealthy man I've worked for who said, Slavko, you ever need help with your films? And so I pitched this to him, this is like back in 2005.
Yeah.
And he said, why don't I give you some money to get some therapy? Because that is about the stupidest, most insane thing I ever did. I don't know what's going on with you. And I thought, okay, that's it, I can't I'm not going to get any money. I'm just going to put my head down and find a way.
Yeah.
And the nice thing about New Zealand filmmaking is you find friends. Like my co-producer Mike Cameron's a brilliant editor and cameraman, who love the project and are like, well, let's just do whatever it takes, however long it takes, and we'll do it.
And you mentioned something about an international kind of incident, as it were. So what has come out of this film since it's been up? And just before that, you mentioned that it was up on YouTube. So when did it go? When did it go actually viral? When did it go up on YouTube?
On the 18th of May.
Okay.
So the first part of 10 was put up by this character we created called Sabine, who was a translator and had been given from the North Korean defectors when she was visiting family in Seoul.
Okay, I want to go back to that. So,
Sure.
Yeah, sure.
And so it first went up on May 18th, it went up in parts, and then finally July 18th, thereabouts, the whole film went up. And by then there was a little bit of a following. And the whole film went up, and of course people were like, well, where's the original film? We want proof. Of course, the original film, which is a load of crap as well, because you made it, you just had to put the voiceover on. And so that's up, and then slowly but surely people wanted to translate. It's a Russian version, and other languages are coming in, and it started to build. But that's without any aggregation, and we don't exist as filmmakers. That was the whole point. It's just this film is out there. And so this was the first time it came out.
Okay, so for tonight, the one we've seen historically is the first time we've actually put it that it's not a North Korean propaganda.
Yeah, well, we did it the world premiere, but the idea is to let people view it as possibly a North Korean film, even if they have doubts, and then say, here we go.
And so what do you actually expect? What is your results of expectations of this film? The reaction you expect to get from people? If any.
The idea was to inform people in the same way I discovered propaganda, the fact that it's a recipe devised in 1914 and is still in effect today, and in fact having a greater effect than it ever did. Which really alarmed me. I thought if I can make a film that gets people talking, if they can call propaganda public relations, international diplomacy by name, and just stop and question everything they're told and ask who benefits from this, then it becomes like an antidote to propaganda, and in that way it empowers people. And of course you have to provoke and offend, not just for the sake of it, but there's some footage and information in there that's not exactly palatable. It's quite intense. And of course you have to inject some comedy just to lighten the load.
And the concept of North Korea, obviously it's the eternal enemy of the West, so therefore it's a great other example. But the point you're making in the film, essentially, this is what I would have picked up and assumed, is the fact that North Korean propaganda is no different to West. Propaganda is propaganda internationally.
It is. It's a recipe, and there you go. In World War II, Joseph Goebbels openly was thanking the British and Americans for their propaganda model. It's an excellent set of tools that everyone uses. North Koreans have their own style, because there is no resistance.
On the day before we left, we went to the expanding documentary, which showed different forms of the documentary through films, installation and live events. The most magnetic to our senses was a room where Jørgen Leth, the Danish filmmaker and poet, showed his work, The Perfect Human and the Five Destructions, which can briefly be seen here. There was also an exhibit on the future of technology, where we will be and what the future might hold regarding Facebook and other social network sites and technology. The festival was much more than just showing documentary. IDFA is a state of mind, a way of seeing the world through different visuals while trying to understand and inform on human nature. The night before we left, we went to a party at the Kulturhuis, where the exhibition was. This was the final closing party for IDFA 2012 and the 25-year anniversary of the festival. After lots of booze and hanging out with other festival people, we stumbled home to spend the last night on our houseboat that was packed with people at this stage. We were intrigued by the fact that opposite our houseboat, someone had decided to put their car on the boat. We found out that it was to avoid paying for parking. This last look down the boardwalk, packed, and we were ready to go back to London. Till the next one.